Hello students, welcome back. Let us start and continue with the same chapter and start with the last part of it, that is improvement in food resources. In the previous lecture, what did we did? We studied about the fish culturing or fish farming. Okay, fish can be cultured or farmed by two ways, from natural, okay, or I can do fish farming. When I am taking the fishes from natural environment, I call it them as capture fishing because I am capturing them in net. Okay, and when I am culturing them, I am rearing them, then it is called as culture farming. Culture farming can be of two types: mariculture, that is I am culturing a fish from ocean or sea. It is generally done near the coastal region, or I can have aquaculture where I am rearing the inland fishes or a freshwater fish, right. Now, the aquaculture can be again of three ways. Okay, I am making a cage and just dipping it in the river so that the cage is closed and the eggs will grow, and once they are totally grown, I will take up the cage. Why I am dipping? So that they get the natural environment and they can grow faster. The second way is integrated aquaculture, when I am integrating the fishes, okay, growing or rearing of fishes along with the field, that is paddy formation. Generally it is done for paddy because paddy is requiring more amount of water. So, in rainy season it becomes easier for the fish to grow. And the last one is composite fish culture, in which I grow more than one fishes in the same river, but the difference is in their feeding pattern. Now, today we will start with the last part of the chapter, that is beekeeping. Okay, that means rearing of bees. Beekeeping is also known as apiculture. Okay, that is rearing of bees. Now, why do I rear a bee for stinging? No, I rear the bee for honey, and bees are also reared for wax production. Okay, now majorly over here, instead of wax also you have honey more. Why? Because it is used in medicine, it is as an appetizer, it is used vastly over many places in food industry also. So, for that I rear the bee or do apiculture for honey or wax. Okay. Now, over here same way as we had breeds, different breeds of the poultry and the different ones of cattle, right. It can be either indigenous or I can have the different types of exotic breed. The same way I have over here different breeds of bee. Okay, and the breed, whenever I write the name, I start with the capital letter A. Okay, so this is the genus name, and the species will start with a small letter, and when I am writing it, I will underline it. Apis dorsata, the first one. The another one is Apis indica. This is the Indian bee. Okay. The another breed of bee is Apis florae. This is the Indian bee. This is also called as a rock bee. And the last one is Apis mellifera. This one is known as a Italian bee. Now, why I am writing this is because Italian bee is of too much importance. Okay. Now, these are the different breeds by which you can do the apiculture, but from all the four you prefer this Italian bee much more. The reason being that the Italian bee produces around 50 to 200 kgs of honey. Okay. It produces around 50 to 200 kgs of honey. So, the honey production is much more over here. So, since the production is more, I will use this bee for the apiculture. The another thing is it stays in the hive. Okay, beehive it stays in for a very long time. So, since it is staying long time, it is able to produce the honey more. So, stays in hive for long. The next thing, the next characteristics for which I choose a Italian bee is that it stings less. Now, we all know that the bee stings, but this Italian bee stings less. And the last is that it breeds well. The breeding over here is very easy. Therefore, amongst these four, Italian bee or Apis mellifera is much more suitable and taken for doing the apiculture. Okay. Now, there are only two things which you need to take care if you want to do the apiculture. The first one is pasturage. Okay. Pasturage is a type of flower. We all know that the bee is producing the honey from the nectars of the flower. So, if you are having wild pasturage, that is the wild flower, the honey will be bitter, and if you are having good amount of flowers, then the honey will be very sweet. So, the pasturage is very important, that is the type of flower and the amount of flower. If I have only 1 kg of flower nearby or in only 1 acre of land, the flower is less, and the same place I have 3 to 4 acres of land with good quality of flower, then the flowers are more, so the nectar will be more, so the honey production will be more. So, the pasturage, that is the type of flower and the quantity of the flower is important. And another one on which the honey production depends is type of bee, which we already studied. We are supposed to prefer Italian bee over all the other, the rock bee, the Indian bee or the Apis florae. Italian bee is much more preferred. Why? Because it have these all characteristics. Okay. So, this is all about apiculture. With this we finish with our chapter. Let us recapitulate the whole chapter from the starting from the plant to be enhanced as a food resource. This I will be doing with the help of a flow chart, so that it becomes easier for you all to make a note that what are the different aspects which we studied in plants as well as in animals. Okay. Now, the plant or for the crops, we have 3 different things for which I can have or by which I can have improvement in food resource of a plant. The first one being crop variety improvement. The next one is crop production improvement. And the last one is crop protection management. I'll write more neatly so that you can take a note. Management. Now, let us take the first one over here, crop variety improvement. Now, crop variety improvement is generally done by hybridization. Okay. Now, in this hybridization, I can even have recombinant DNA technology. Now, hybridization have 3 steps. What are the 3 steps? First is introduction, then is selection. Introduction, I collect the seeds, selection, I grow and select them, and then the last thing, cross breeding, that is the hybridization part. Okay. Now, there are 6 factors for which you do hybridization. The first one being biotic and abiotic resistance. Then we have change in maturity duration. Then I have desirable agronomics. Okay. Now, biotic abiotic resistance, that means to get a crop which is neither affected by any biotic like pest or rodents or temperature or moisture, that is abiotic. Change in maturity duration based on whether it is a kharif crop or rabi crop. So, instead of 6 months, if it grows in 3 months, the crop production will be more. Desirable agronomics means money related economics, okay, or agricultural related economics, where I need characteristics which will give me more amount of money. Then I have good quality. Then we have higher yield, so that the yield is more, so we get more amount of money. And the last one, wider adaptability. It is able to grow in all the different types of adaptation, the temperature, the climate, the moisture, etc. Let us go to the next one, crop production management. This can be done again by 3 ways. Okay, what are the 3 ways? Nutritional management, then we have here we manage the nutrition so that they grow well, then we have irrigation, and the last one, cropping pattern. Okay, nutritional management can be done by either manure, okay, or it can be done by fertilizer. Again, manure can be 2 things. One is compost and vermicompost. And here I can have green manure. Okay, that is where I use the weeds for growing, like sun hemp and cowpea. Here I am having the compost, the waste, or I am using the worm as a compost. Fertilizer, we studied about 2 fertilizers, natural and chemical. Okay, the natural one are made from natural things, so I can add your neem tree, and chemical mein I can add NPK, urea, these all are chemical fertilizers. But the problem with chemical is that they cause leaching, and here it do not cause leaching, but natural takes a long time. Okay, it degrades by itself and then gets absorbed, and here it is directly absorbed by the plant. Irrigation, different ways, by canals, wells. Okay, well can be either labor, okay, that is in the different way where I have put the bucket and take the water from the well, or I will have tube wells where I am having motor. Okay, so here labor work is required in one case, or other case I have the motors which draw the water. Then I have river lift system where the water of the river is lifted, but here the area will have less water and the amount of water in the river should be more. It is generally done with big water or tanks. Apart from this, I also added your sprinkler and drip irrigation, that was we have already studied in the previous one. These are the natural ways or the previous ways, the olden ways by which we irrigate the land. In 8th standard you studied the new methods, modern technology. Cropping pattern are of 3 types. First one, mixed cropping, where you grow more than 1 crops in the same field, you mix the crops, okay, so that if one gets infested by the pest, the other is there already, so there is no less amount of waste of money. Then you have intercropping, again growing more than 1 crop in the same field at the same time, but in a particular pattern. Okay, so the harvesting over here becomes easier. And then you have crop rotation. You rotate the crop and grow so that the nutritional requirement of one gets fulfilled by the other. Okay, like your leguminous plant and wheat. Now crop protection management. Here you can have either before the crops are harvested or after they are harvested, you can protect the crop. This will be generally in silos or gunny bags, you are storing them, okay, and fumigation is done so that the room remains clean. And here I can add either weedicides, that is generally to kill the weeds. Weeds can be removed by again 2 ways. First is manual remover, other is by using the chemicals. Weedicides, pesticides, herbicides. Herbicides are again the chemicals which are used to kill the weeds. Bactericides and fungicides. Okay, and these are the different ways by which you can enhance the plant as a food resource. So this whole table recapitulates the whole plant thing. Look at it again one time. Then we will go on to the animal, improving the animal as a food resource or animal husbandry. Let us start with animal husbandry. Okay, Animal husbandry can be again of 4 different types. I can use the animal for the milk, I can use it for meat, I can have for honey, or I can have it for eggs. Okay. So, the animal husbandry or improvement of food for animals. What is animal husbandry? Rearing of animals for various animal livestock, like for breeding, for the food, for shelter, for the disease control, all the things are taken care of in animal husbandry. Okay. The first one, cattle farming. Okay. The next one, poultry farming. Then we have fish production or fish farming. And the last one we have beekeeping. Let us take the first one over here, cattle farming. You can rear the cattle for 2 things, either for milk, in that case you call them as milch animal, or for agriculture purpose, in that case you call them as draught animal. Okay. We are going to stress here more on milch animal. Why? Because we are going to improve the food. So, for the milch animal, we need to breed it. How is the breeding done? The breeding is done with an Indian breed and an exotic or a foreign breed. Then take care of the shelter. It should be well ventilated. We should comb their hair so that the ticks and lice goes. We should fumigate the room where they stay, and it should have a slope. The down floor should be a slope so that the water can easily and the waste can easily remove. Then even the food can be of 2 types, that is what, your roughage or concentrate. Okay. And depending on the way the milch animal is there, on the type, like whether it is lactating period or a pregnancy period, we change the food. And the disease control, that is done by vaccination. So, we will add over here roughage or concentrates, and here will be vaccination. Okay. Going to poultry farming. Poultry farming is again done for either hens or pigeons or ducks, okay, or turkey. And remember, it can be again done for 2 things, like we have for either milch animal or draught animal. Here we can have for layers, that is the egg layers, the one which will give us egg, and for broilers, which will give us meat. Okay, this is for egg and this is for meat. Both the cases we studied what? The breeding ways in which you breed a Indian breed and an exotic breed. Then you studied the disease control over here also by vaccination, and you study about the shelter and food. Over here the shelter should be well ventilated and sunlight should be there, it should be spacious, and over here the shelter should have proper temperature control. If I talk about food, it should have vitamin and mineral more over here, and here I need protein and vitamin A and K rich diet. Going to the next one, fish production. It can be either capture fishing or culture fishing. Okay. Capture fishing, simply going and capturing fish with the help of net. So, it can be either inland, that is freshwater fishes which are captured, or marine fishes. Culture fishes can be 2 types, mariculture and aquaculture. And aquaculture can be done in 3 ways. One is integrated, that is I integrate it with the paddy or the field one. Okay, so integrated aquaculture, one is in cage, and the another one composite, where I grow more than 1 fish together in a culturing way. Okay, where the feeding habits of each fish will differ. So, this is your fish production. Here we need to take care that we get the seeds or the eggs properly. Okay, and the last one, beekeeping. We do beekeeping for what? Honey and wax. Okay, why we do fish production? Fish production because it is very rich source of protein as well as it is very cheap. Okay, so the poor people can easily afford it. So the protein content over here is more and it is cheaper. Okay, we have 4 different types or breeds of bee which we use for beekeeping. The first one, Apis mellifera, that is the Italian bee. Apis indica, the Indian bee. Apis dorsata and Apis florae. Out of this 4, we are using Apis mellifera is preferred more. Why? Because it stings less, it produces more amount of honey, around 50 to 200 kgs of honey, and it stays in the hive for long. Since it stays in the hive for long, it produces more amount of honey. And the next one is that it breeds well. So for that 4 reason, we uses Apis mellifera more. And there are 2 things which you need to keep in mind if you want to do beekeeping. The first thing is pasturage, that is the quality of the flower and the quantity of the flower should be good, so that you get more amount of honey and good quality of honey. And the another thing is the type of the honeybee or the breed of the honeybee which you are using, and the one which is preferred is this one for the things which I already told. Beekeeping is also known as apiculture. So let me write it down. So this is all about your animal husbandry or different things or different farming which we do for animal as a food resource, improving animal as a food resource. Okay, have a look again so that you can recapitulate the whole animal husbandry. With this we finish with our chapter, and in the next lecture we'll start with the important question. I'll discuss few of the important question which comes every year, and we will discuss even the answer point wise, so it becomes easier for you to write down the answers in your exams. Thank you.
Hope this video increased your knowledge. For more such videos and a completely free educational content, log on to www.ipathshala.org or visit our iPathshala YouTube channel. We have each and every question solved for maths, physics, chemistry and biology. So subscribe our channel, share with your friends, like our Facebook page and follow our Twitter handle for regular updates and important educational tips, and also win iPathshala goodies. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe this channel and enjoy the freedom of education.